What up, what up, what up, what up? Friends and Family Pod is here. We're live, ready to go. Happy, well, when you say this is Wednesday, it's the middle of the week. I hope you haven't been doing anything to jeopardize your week so far. The gang is all here, of course. You know what I'm saying? If you're on YouTube, make sure you like, subscribe, hit that notification bell so when episodes drop, you know. We appreciate all the love. You know what I'm saying? We're up and coming on this video platform space. You know what I'm saying? So again, welcome to another episode of Friends and Family, Season 6. And they said we wasn't even gonna make it this far. You kidding me? Let's
Talk that talk. Word.
I'm here.
Let them know.
You feel me? I'm like, I just want to say something real quick, randomly. So I did a pop-up yesterday, right? And I'm not going to put nobody on blacks, but I run a clothing brand, Hunters and Hounds Clothing. I'm dripping it from head to toe, as you can see. We as a culture really need to do a better job of learning how to speak. Like, we say things, right? And we make shit cool because it's acceptable. And I understand that the inauspiciousness of being in a space where you're like, you know what? If I can't say something the way it's supposed to be said, I'm gonna make up a word or I'm gonna use a word that don't have no business being there, and I'm gonna just say that I've expanded my vocabulary and leave it at that. But I don't think that that's the case because public speaking is hard. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to give nobody a hard time, but I do really feel like, yo, stick your face in a book, bro. It'll do wonders for you. Just read. Just read. Find your favorite book and read and watch what that does for your vocabulary. I read a lot. You know what I'm saying? I'm not pushing that on nobody else. It was just, as a black man, I'm rooting for everybody black. You get me? And it touched my heart yesterday to watch some of these people that they're put in this position with this opportunity to speak. And they were just, it just wasn't there. And it broke my heart. I was like, damn, you know what I'm saying? And it was people in there, you could tell, they were making jokes, they were looking around at one another like, what the fuck are you talking about? Yeah. I wasn't one of those people because I was like, damn, you know, I've been there, you know what I'm saying? So just get your paperwork right in the sense of find some books you like and stick your face in and struggle, pronunciate out your words, highlight the words you don't understand, break them up into syllables, split them into 2s, 3s, and 4s if you have to, you know what I'm saying? But yo, read, man, read. It'll be one of the best things you ever do for yourself. Because if you're intellectual and you can comprehend and you can put your words together properly, you can convey whatever you need to say, and you know what I'm saying, it don't rest on your heart in a negative way. Enough about all that. My pod crew is here, y'all. How y'all doing?
What's poppin'? What's poppin'? I'm feeling good. Looking
You
kind
don't
of
look
tired.
like you feel good.
I'm looking
No.
tired as hell. But you know, Punch was last night. So shout out to everybody who pulled up. It was a success.
You looking like that Honda ends did a Honda job.
Yeah, no facts. Did a great job with me. But you know, like I said, shout out to everybody that came out. Shout out to performances. We got Dino Crazy, One Ski Mask. It was a vibe. If you missed it, don't worry. It's each and every third Saturday. You see how I look, so you know it was a turn up. Word.
Man. I know I'm not built for clubbing no more. Last night when they started playing music at the end of the event and they turned the music up, I was like, I need to get the fuck out.
That is my cue to get out of
I was
here.
like, it's my time. I'm going home. I'm ready to pack up and leave. Like I'm gonna try to sell some more pieces, but as soon as it's a wrap, Jack.
Last week you said he was going to East Party. I was like, I would pay money to see you after your event going there. I
Yo.
was like, nah.
Actually,
That ain't happening.
a gem y'all don't know about me. I think he knows. Y'all the crew know, but our audience know. I love the opera, right? So I was supposed to go to the opera, and I fumbled that yesterday too, because I'm not able to just put string okay, I woke up at 6 for my first client, so that means on a Saturday morning I'm up at 5:30 because I need my 30 minutes for my water and my coffee, and it just mentally prepare myself for the day. And then I start training clients from 6, and I don't stop till 12 noon. Then I had to pack the truck from the night before, so I spent like hour and a half packing the truck with everything for the pop-up, you know what I'm saying, then going over the list to make sure everything was there, then going to the pop-up, unpacking, setting up, you know what I'm saying, it's a grind.
Nah, for real.
It's a grind.
I don't know what's up.
You're not gonna have that kind of time on the back end of that, even though the pop-up ended at 7:45, 8 o'clock. I don't have the energy to go turn up at 11. At 11, I was struggling to get off the couch. I think we were on the couch last night till like 4:40 in the morning.
Yeah.
Sleeping?
Sleeping. Yeah, like I had a leg, she had my leg wrapped over her. We looked like two retarded lizards. Just sleeping.
No
Just
cap,
passed the fuck out.
that would be the best.
Sleep. I ain't gonna hold you.
Yes.
I ain't gonna
I
hold
slept
you.
on the couch last night too.
You see what I'm saying? So y'all can't be. I'm a couch. I am an avid get comfortable in my house and fall asleep. Okay.
Pass the fuck out.
So
Nothing wrong
don't
with
even.
that.
Yeah, hey, don't judge me. Don't come for me.
Ain't nothing wrong with that, my boy.
Yes. Yes.
So what we talking about today? Talk to me.
Alright, so we have an intense episode today.
Intense.
Yeah.
The day when both of y'all look like y'all ain't got no sleep.
I got sleep.
Intense.
Yeah,
Oh.
I'm
I
ready.
was just working yesterday. I went to bed at like 10:30.
Oh.
What you
And
got?
I woke up at 9:30.
Corporate business
What
hours.
you got?
Yeah.
Went to
For
bed
real.
at 10:30.
You got it.
I'm a corporate bitch. What do you do?
She said she's a corporate. I'm not gonna call you. That. You're gonna get me.
I said,
You ain't gonna catch it.
bitch.
You're gonna catch me with
That's
that.
a fact.
Keep that line. Keep that line, man. Let's go. Let's go. What we doing? What we
Okay,
talking
let's go.
about? I'm ready.
So the first topic we're talking about, which I'm really excited to talk about, is learning how to fight in a relationship.
Mm.
Dirty
And
words.
and how to get back to your normalcy, or is it even possible after a nasty fight?
I'm in a relationship, so I can tell you this. And I've always kind of been like, I have to acknowledge that I've always been a relationship person, right? But just because you're the person who you think like the healthy thing to do in life is to find someone and try to build with, that does not mean that you are equipped with the right tools to deal with conflict in a relationship. Because I definitely was ill-equipped, you know what I'm saying? I've been verbally abused, I've done some abusing myself. I've you know, been in arguments where I held on to whatever was said, and I do think that there's a line, you know what I'm saying, that you just can't cross. I think one of the biggest struggles that we have as men in relationships is confiding in your partner and then throwing it back in your face when they get angry at you. I think that that's like the dirtiest fight that you could ever have with your partner is having to recover from them betraying the trust that you have in them.
I've never been in a relationship with a man, so like to me, which I've never been, so don't. It's not the truth.
It's got to be harder for you. Shit, you're a woman, she's a woman.
That's a fact. That was just
No,
some shit.
but
Y'all
I
be having
feel like
period fights.
And then when y'all do it, together.
Yeah, like
no, but I don't know. To me, it's just like I feel like men at one point, like they're able to open up, but I feel like opening up is you go back and forth, right? There's time where you open up, and then there's times where you just have to like close back in. And I feel like when shit gets hard, a lot of men feel like they have to protect themselves, and they get closed. And then when the woman's like, yo, but what about this and this and that? And then they start like throwing it in your face. Everything you said when you opened up, it's like you can't handle it. But that's the perception of someone that has never been with a man, made that be clear. So, not just
I don't think that's how it goes. I don't think that's how it goes. Like, from I will give you a male's perspective of being in a relationship, right?
okay.
Been in a relationship with a woman in not the one I'm in now, but in the past. Confided in that woman because I felt like that was the right thing to do, because I allowed myself to be emotionally vulnerable with this person. That one person was ill-equipped because they were emotionally immature. The other person, it was just one of those things where it's like, oh, you just want ammo for when you get upset. You're not actually being vulnerable with me for real. This is disingenuous.
Wait, that was
The second person.
her to you?
Yeah, she was.
Oh, okay.
It didn't play out for me until after the relationship ended, and we would have nasty exchanges because we were trying to split up things that we had bought together. And I was just like, look, you can have it. Like, I don't care. I'll go start over. Here, keep whatever you want. You just can't have access to my money and my resources no more. And that was a problem for her. It was like, no, I want to still be able to go to the tire shop and say your name. No, I want to still go to whatever hookah bar and tell them, no, we're done. That means all of that's done. And it was a problem. So then things that were personal and near and dear to me that she knew about, she started attacking me with those things. And it's like, we've done enough harm to one another. That's why we're no longer in a relationship. Why are you trying so hard to tear me down even more? So it's like, I get, like, for me, my own experience is, you can't cuss me and class me and talk to me crazy and then want to lay down next to me. You know what I'm saying? My guy to my right here, we've shared plenty of experiences with one another as men, where when we talk in spaces where it's just the guys, we all kind of have that very similar complaint where it's like, you want me to be comfortable with you talking to me crazy. I'm a man. I always say, you can love me second and respect me first. That's my biggest thing. Like, respect to me, above all else, comes first. Give me the respect. Because if you respect me, I know you just can't cross certain lines. You know what I'm saying? And I don't think that we as a culture push that, like, to women. Like, respect your man, respect the things he says. That does not mean that he's a totalitarian dictatorship type thing and you do what he says when he says no. That's bullshit. What I'm talking about is understanding when he confides in you, that if you take that information and turn around in an argument or in a disagreement space and throw it in his face, and you can't apologize, own up for it, or recognize what you're doing and stopping, you're forever gonna have a problem. You'll forever go from relationship to relationship and you'll never get anywhere.
Yeah. And also, like, I've been in a 4-year relationship, and we never had a bad fight. Because my thing, like, because I'm a very, like, mellow, chill person, non-confrontational, and I am drawn to and attract people that are the opposite of, like, the opposite. Complete insanity.
That's crazy.
And not, like, in a bad way, just like so different. And when I went into that relationship, I was kind of scared of that difference. So I always push for communication and, like, and communication means healthy communication, because screaming and fighting is not communication. So I always made sure that we would talk about our issues and resolve it as a couple, as two people that love and respect each other. And it always, until the end, let's say, it always worked out really well. So to me, I was recently witnessing, like, the craziest couple fight I've ever seen. Breaking shit, throwing, beating, woman beating the man up. A lot of it was bad, and I was in the middle physically, and I was just shocked. Like, how do you love this person? Do you, like, live or be in a relationship with this person, and you have, no matter what happened, and you have the audacity to do all that, to hit your man, to talk to him like he should. I'm baffled. And that's all I can say. So
I feel like, so for me growing up, I've always seen my parents argue, but it was never like nothing crazy. So I always just tell myself, like, every good relationship
is based on what you see in your parents.
One, and then two, I feel like an argument is good in a relationship. And it sounds crazy me saying that, but it's like, it's going to be time when you're going to have disagreements.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So there's going to be a time when you have to have an argument, but I just feel like it's how far you take that argument, or how far you let it go, should I say. You know what I mean? You can have an argument, we have a disagreement, and I might go one way, I go the other way, and then, you know, a couple of minutes we all calm down, we come back, we apologize, we talk about what needed to be talked about, we fix the issue, and then we move forward. Well, I feel like now these arguments is like, all right, so you told me something, now I'm embarrassed, and I have to embarrass you the same way that you embarrassed me, so you can see that you can feel the same way that I felt. Instead of you understanding how you feel and trying to correct the situation so we don't feel that way again.
There's no empathy.
Yeah, it's like I don't know, it's gone out the window now. We used to have a lot of empathy before, but I just feel like now it's just out the window.
I think people forget to be decent and to understand that, like, I mean, raise my mic up a little bit. I think people forget to be decent, and you also, if you lack I think to be in a relationship is to understand that. Let me say this. There's a book I read called the Signs of Love in a Time of War, right? And what it speaks to is how you resolve conflict with the person you decided to do life with, right? Whether it's your girlfriend or your wife or your life partner, whatever course you decide to go about, right? And there's a passage in the book that's very like triggering, because he says when you are in a relationship, your inner child traumas show up because you are at your most emotionally vulnerable, right? But what we've done especially in our culture, in Black culture, is we've removed the feelings from the table, or we pretend to anyway, because I think it's all cap. And then we expect for people to just operate like robots, like do what I say.
Survival mode.
Yeah, do what I say, when I say, how I say. And if you don't do that, then you're, automatically you're trash, you ain't shit. And then we run to these social spaces and we want to vent about this terrible person. But guess what you're forgetting? That you chose to be with that terrible person. So when you are bashing that person, what does it say about you and your choices?
Right.
That's why I don't run to the internet with nothing. I think it's a terrible idea, because you're not thinking about how it reflects back on you, And I think that's one of those things where it's like we always say, oh, all's fair in love. Like that's a go-to. All's fair in love and war, isn't
No,
it?
it isn't.
Is it really fair?
That
though?
is not true. And also, not regarding what you said that much, but I feel like it really is important to, the same way when you get into a relationship, you get to know the person you're with,
Right.
you have to get to know how to resolve conflict with that person.
Language. That's what I wanted to say that I forgot about. Language.
Yeah.
I had a friend that I confided in when I was having some trouble in a relationship, and her answer was basically like, y'all are fighting too much, just break up. And it's like, you know why we're fighting? Because neither of us knew how to talk to one another in one another's language. So we literally were like square peg, round hole, and then we're trying to communicate.
Yeah.
And you can't communicate that way. It's ineffective.
Mhm.
It's counterproductive. Like, I know how to speak to E, and I know how to speak to you. Why? Because even though it's English to the both of them, right, there's certain things that if I say them in a certain way, it guarantees me a different response from the both of them. People don't take these things into consideration when they go in a relationship. We just want it to be butterflies, rainbows, and a nice aesthetic for you to put your toes getting sucked on by somebody's son. Like, we're not really paying attention. We're not. I digress. Like, we're not. We don't pay attention at all. We be like, oh yeah, no, it looks good. On paper, he's great. And it's like, well, what about his upbringing? What about his background? Is he a cheater? is he a liar? Are you going to be okay if you catch him mid-stroke with somebody else in the house? Like, these are things you have to think about. As a man, are you going to be okay with the fact that a woman's tongue is a weapon? When she may say things that you genuinely can be like, wow, I didn't even know you could talk like that. You know what I'm saying? Are you going to be okay with laying down next to this person after that? Understanding that takes work.
I think that's one of the biggest things that you said like that is like, we don't really take the time to sit down and get to know each other. I feel like
No.
everybody always says, oh, I have a best friend, or I have this, and I have that. And honestly speaking, I feel like if you're in a relationship, your best friend should be the person that you're in a relationship with. And the reason why I say that is because before you got into that next step of that person being your boyfriend or girlfriend, you've reached those levels of you understanding what kind of person that person is to say that that's your best friend.
Right.
And I feel like maybe back then we would, but for sure right now we're not doing it. It's just, oh, that's my girlfriend or that's my boyfriend. Just to have that title and just to feel like, all right, now we can talk about certain stuff now because we have that title, but you haven't even gone past the friendship stage. Like you don't even know his favorite color or what he likes to do, what he doesn't like to do. If he's a family person, if his mom and dad were together still, like there's a lot of stuff that goes into like getting to know somebody. And I feel like if you skip steps, the relationship, from what I can see, if you skip steps, the relationship's not gonna be your best relationship.
Yeah, absolutely. And I like being here now. It's funny because the culture shock, even though I'm in my country,
Right.
the culture shock is so incredibly
What do you mean from a dating
Important.
perspective?
from a lot of perspectives, but from a dating perspective too, because and I don't like it's hard for me to really base off my opinions because I mainly only had one big like actual relationship. But I really do feel like people don't take the time to like
Get to know one another.
for example, me, in my past relationship, we would just hang out and ask questions to each other, like literally, let's get to know each other, you know?
It's a fact.
And
Why you asking me so many questions?
Right.
Detective? What you police?
exactly.
That's a question I always get. That shit. I hate it.
And it's so
Yeah.
it's so hard to like manage all of that because I'm like, okay, so what do we do then? Like, it's hard. And to E's point before, fighting and discussions and arguments are extremely important, a vital part of a relationship because that's, I feel like the same way as, to me personally, I feel more intimate and closer to the person through sex.
Right.
I do through arguments and like hard
Conversation.
times,
Right.
conversations, because
Right.
that makes you know a person more than
Well, you're conveying
And
feelings and
else.
thoughts. The
Yeah.
only way to do that is through conversation.
yeah.
And this
If
should
you want to skip steps, y'all ready to go fuck like rabbits and just skip the whole bunch of them. You wondering why the ship sailed and it failed.
And that's why I'm saying that sex will be 10 times better, like she said, if that conversation is lit. Like,
Absolutely.
and I feel like nowadays, that people can't talk.
No,
Like, if you ain't talking about the regular, the sex and the drugs and all that, you can't have a regular conversation. And I've noticed that, like, I remember before, I used to be able to be on the phone for girls, and I'd be 10 hours talking, and I'm like, damn, time just flew by. I was supposed to go do something, and fuck it, I'm just on the phone. And now it's like, fuck,
Silence.
time not flying by any faster, right?
hurry up.
Like, hurry up, like what's going on? And I feel like it's I don't know, it's just the conversation and everything now is just, it's like we talk about the same shit constantly.
Mhm.
And if once that conversation's been spoken about 10, 15 times, it's like, alright, cool.
Yeah,
That is very true.
that's very
Like, what's
sad.
next to talk about, you know what I mean? So
It's very sad.
it's sad, man. I mean, I don't know. I mean,
It is. So
it's tough.
basically, you do have to learn how to fight in a
No,
relationship,
because-
how to have discussions, and so
How to
quickly, do you guys think it's possible after a really nasty fight, like a bad one, to get back to normal? For me personally, I would say no, because if I see some shit, I'm like, I'm not doing this again. Like, you're done, we're done, and not in a like let's just break up way, but I cannot have that lack of respect and be like, oh yeah,
Okay,
it's
okay.
okay,
Yeah.
like we're cool. No, you don't
Cross
get
the
to do
line.
that with me.
I think for me, it's also a no. And that's just based on the fact that if I have to betray my own sense of self, my own dignity, my own self-worth in order to be with you, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I would rather suffer the pain and anguish of you not being in my life than continue to allow you to disrespect me and to degrade me and to put myself in a situation where I'm suffering from emotional turmoil at your hand because you don't know how to fight fair or you don't know how to not go in the mud, you know. I think it's just that's what it boils down to for me. I'd say no because wholeheartedly I would have two battles going on. One would be the fact that you've betrayed me by using things that I've conveyed in you against me, or you've just been dirty and disrespectful on the level where
Okay.
I can't see you in the light that I once did, and so it's hard for me to shake that and want to be intimate with you as well as wanting to be emotionally vulnerable with you again. It just wouldn't work.
Yeah, I have to agree too, because I remember before, before I would say yes, I would give a second chance, but then, like I said, like we had conversations before, and he kind of opened our eyes to make me understand that, like, just as much as, you know, the biggest thing is pussy is power, I feel like guys, we're powerful too in our own sense and in our own style, but we just don't understand it, or we haven't been, it hasn't been brought into the light that we are a catch and that we are, like, important, and we play a big role in a relationship working. I feel like a lot of times us guys don't really understand it, or it doesn't get thrown at us enough to understand it. So I feel like when you have friends and people around you that can explain to you, like, yo, listen, you don't gotta sit for that shit. Like, you're better than that. You see yourself, you see where you're going, you see where you're headed at, and if that's bringing you down, then remove yourself from that situation and go elevate yourself out by yourself, or elevate yourself and find somebody different. So for me, I definitely say no now. And for the fellas that would say yes, you just need to understand yourself, understand your worth.
No, yeah, I think it's a matter of work. A lot of guys aren't privy to that. A lot of men aren't privy to that. And the conversation that surrounds the idea of a man knowing his worth is labeled as a lot of things other than just a man knowing his worth. You know, that's
And
for
it
another day. Another time.
revolves around so many different things than it does to a woman.
Yeah.
But
Moving
moving on. So, what are your bad habits you're trying to shake? I have so many. I'm not gonna lie.
I don't have that many, so I have a big one. My biggest bad habit that I'm trying to shake off is just being lazy. Like, and it's crazy that I say that because when I have conversation with people and we like talk about stuff and our ideas and the shit that I have in my mind is fucking phenomenal. But to put it like in the forefront, put it on the table, and like put it to work, for some reason I don't know what it is. It's just
Execution.
Yeah, the execution is not there for me. But at the same time, what I would say is, and like it always worked for me back in the days, and I feel like I just have to bring that shit back to me now. So now I'm in a kind of process I can say is of now getting a mentor, or I would like to, should I say? And I feel like I'm a big sports guy, and I've played sports like all my life. So I always look at it. I've been telling Dame too before, like, yo, I need somebody that's gonna give me that tough love. Like, yo, if I'm fucking up, I need him to say, yo, you're fucking up, get back to your shit. Because I'm used to that. Some people used to it too, and if when they get that love that they're used to and they understand, you gotta get that person that you want to see out of that person. So for me, that's what I want right now. I'm looking for somebody that can give me that push and say, yo, you're fucking up, pick your shit up, yo, let's get back to work. So that's my biggest thing is that I'm lazy, but I'm definitely working on it. I've definitely understood why I'm at that level, and I'm trying to elevate myself to get to the next level. Because once I come out of my lazy stage, it's a different ballgame. So that's what I like.
I think friendly advice I tell you is if you think that you're lazy, don't talk about your ideas, do it.
Facts.
Don't have no conversation with nobody else.
And that's what I started doing now. Like,
Stop talking. Not because they're taking your energy away, but because there is such a thing as just accomplishment conveyance where you say it and that's enough.
Mm-hmm.
So don't say it.
Just
You
do
know what
it.
I'm saying? Just do it. And that's literally like just do it. That's where it comes from. It's like, hey, don't talk about it. Be about it. You know, let your actions be the self-explanatory thing, and that is different. You know, I think for me though, one of the things I'd like to really improve on is like my physical fitness. Again, like I know everybody's like, damn, shut up. I just think that there's a different like standard for me as a personal trainer that I have to live up to, and I don't think that I'm there if I'm being 100% honest. And so I've really been paying attention to my diet more, paying attention to my workouts more, being more intentional about it, and not hiding. You know what I'm saying? Like timidness is a thing for me. Like being this is gonna sound like one of those quintessential Black American states, but being a Black man in certain spaces is very uncomfortable sometimes. And I feel like I don't know if I belong here in these rooms or in these spaces. Like, so learning to take up space without having to feel timid about taking up space or speaking up for myself, specifically when it comes to certain things that I should have equal rights to as much as anybody else, even if they're not of the same hue as me, is something that I'm working on. You know what I'm saying? And I think that just comes from survival remorse. Because, like I said before, I'm not looking for no pity. I just want y'all to know that I was dog shit poor, bad credit, living in a, you know what I'm saying, shitty situation, trying to figure it out, trying to make a way for myself. And I'm still not where I want to be, but I'm a whole lot better. And one of the things that I employ is I don't talk about things anymore. I just do it. Do it, and then we can have a conversation about why I did it. And I can explain to you the whole intricacy and the ins and outs of it.
Oh my God.
But yeah, that's a bad habit that I'm trying to kick, is I just really would like to hold up and take up space and not apologize for it.
I like that.
That's good.
Yeah.
As you should.
Yeah, that's what they said, right? That's how the conversation goes, right? As you should, don't apologize for it. You know, want me to be somewhere.
For me, I would definitely say time management. Time management, definitely. And I know time management is not a habit, but
Well, I think everything starts with habits. So
yeah, it's really hard for me to balance everything I have because, so one thing about me is my main priority always, right now, and it will always be, is my mental health. Because I've been through a lot, and I've learned that if that is not my priority, I'm not, like, I've been in therapy for 15 years. I'm not dropping that. Like, I've learned enough to know that that is a priority for me, point.
I can
So-
ask you a question.
Yeah.
Do you see yourself having an end goal to that? Like, or are you just gonna keep going? You feel
Oh,
like
no,
it's
there's
something-
no end goal.
So
Yeah.
I want to have one more question to
Yeah.
add to that. What made you start rolling? If you don't mind me asking.
No, it's fine. Basically, I started when I was a kid, right? My mom put me in therapy because of the whole, like, divorce situation with them.
Okay.
So that was the
And
reason to go to therapy.
yeah, and it was, I mean, I woke up one day in another country, right? My mom took me. So she made the right choice to put me in therapy. And then I just kept going because I loved it. And then, like, when I was a teen, a lot of things happened. So I just kept going, and then I moved. So I always had a reason. And I just love it. So with that being said, I do prioritize my well-being, which sometimes can get in the way of me doing what I have to do, right? Because I need my time to rest, I need my time to work out, I need my time to meal prep, I need my time to keep my shit clean, all of that. So doing all of it on top of having like 6 different jobs is crazy. And I have I'm not even gonna sugarcoat it, I have a real hard time doing everything. When I get home from a 9 to 5, I'm like, how am I supposed to get on another 9 to 5 right now, you know? And I know that I can, because when I get home, I'm not, especially in the beginning of the week, I'm not that tired, but I just don't want to, you know?
Yeah.
So I'll just keep pushing the things that I have to do to the end of the week, because I know I'm gonna have a weekend where I'm not doing anything and I can just work. So everything that I have to do just gets pushed until the end of the week, and then I'm overworked and overstressed and over like not wanting to do
And
things,
overwhelmed.
overwhelmed, and that is something that like I really have to work on, and it's hard for me to do things I don't want to. Being really honest, like this is something I work on during therapy a lot. It's really hard for me to do something if I don't want to, and it's just something that I try to also, you know, tell myself that it's not that deep because I am young and I have a lot on my plate, like compared to some other people my age, but still it's like I am my age, but a lot of things in my life are way above my age, so I'm like, where should I sit? Like, should I sit at my age and just live life, or should I go to where I should want to be and like go over and just, I don't know, it's just really hard for me
I
to
think
manage
you need to just manage your time. Like
Yeah.
none of that stuff matters. I'm not trying to be disrespectful.
No, I know.
Or be,
Go on.
I think that intentionality speaks more for the quality of the experiences you're gonna have in your life, as opposed to kind of like throwing everything on this. Let's say your life was on this table, and we had no kind of organization or structure to what you're doing. We just flung a bunch of the pieces of your life out there, whatever your business attributes are, whatever your acumen is, whatever your personal life, your dating life, your social life is like. There's no structure and there's no plan. You're young. What you need to do, it sounds like, is just prioritize what goes where, and then give yourself small tasks from each thing throughout each day, and take time to make sure you accomplish them.
Yeah.
Because even though I've taken pride in I'm a writer, I write shit down. You know what I'm saying? I write my whole week out.
Yeah, me too.
Every Thursday, the week coming up is planned out already. You know what I'm saying? And that's how I live my life. So I call it Life Skill Thursdays. And on Thursday, I plan the week ahead as much as I can. You know, because life is going to throw its own curveballs at you, and things are always happening and changing and moving. However, if you have a plan, you're more confident and you're more comfortable. And if you're more comfortable, you won't feel what you're feeling.
But it's true, and the thing is, it's hard because I have a plan for everything. I write shit down. I have 1,000 like different. I have Notion. I have Trello. I have like Excel sheets. Everything that I put in my life, and everything else in my life is perfectly organized.
She's so French.
Facts. I do it all the time. It's European. I mean,
So European.
Everything else in my life is organized except for my work for my company. So like
Right, work-life balance.
yeah, like in my
Fine.
company, I have all my document, everything.
No, I'm not
Just
saying
the
that you
fact
were disorganized in
Oh,
that
no,
way.
no,
I'm
I
thinking
know.
you just need
And I have a plan.
structure around.
But you know what? I think I'm like planning wrong, because what I do is, I mean, what I would like to do is, so I have my clients, right? I have to give them a monthly schedule. Because I know I can do the schedule in a day. So in my mind, I'm like, oh, I'll just do the schedule in a day. But that's like 45, like Instagram posts, caption, like whatever.
Jesus
it-
Christ,
it
no.
is. So,
No.
so I'm
you
just like,
can't.
I'll just do it in a day or
No,
two.
no,
And
no
then
way.
I keep pushing it because I'm like, oh, I can do that today.
Yeah.
And then I just have to do like small
Yeah.
tasks
Yeah.
each day.
Small
But-
wins, man. Just stack
Small
up.
wins.
Small wins stack up to big successes.
Yeah, but that's my
I think your biggest
really
thing
bad.
too is like, I think you're so talented in what you do, but it's like you have nobody around you to push you and say, yo, this is what you can do. Because like, even with your 9 to 5 in your business, it's the same thing.
Yeah, it is.
So it's like, for me, what
Same
I would
goes
tell
with
you to do
different
is, what I would tell you to do is, that same energy you put into working for that next person, double it up and put it in for yourself.
Facts.
That's what I try to flip things and be like, I'm doing this for myself because that helps me. I like doing things for myself. So when I flip it, it's like cool, but it's also like it's hard to do everything alone. And not that I need to share the workload, but just like not having people to talk about it, not having anyone to give you opinion, not having anyone at all. As a freelancer, it's like, it's hard mentally because you're like alone in your own world, and then, you know, it's just,
You know,
We've,
anybody else in that market?
yeah, as a society, we glamorized.
You know anybody else in that market?
um,
Like that you're real cool with?
no, not that I'm like close with. I know people, but that I'm close with, no one. And I was talking to them this week, and I'm like, I'm so happy I have like you now to talk about it, because it's like someone, you know. And that's why I find myself being really happy as for now at my 9 to 5, because I'm the only one in marketing, but I have like my team that I work around, and it's so nice to have people to share with.
Facts.
That's what I was gonna say, is the whole glamorization of being, you know, having that entrepreneurial spirit. And I did the quotes because I don't think that everybody is cut out for this shit.
No,
You know, you really have to be cut from a different cloth to be able to do this, and the cloth don't have enough room on it for everybody to be cut from it.
Yeah.
So, like, you know, and you experience that, the lack of professionalism, the tardiness, those are the things that I think kills your presentation overall of how seriously you take anything.
Mm-hmm.
Is to be on time, you know what I'm saying? Is to have a plan to execute whatever it is that these goals are that you're trying to sell to people, or you're trying to get people on board about. You know, you can't have discombobulation and then have success. It just don't work that way. That's my take on that.
Anyone has anything else to add?
I think that, real quick, I know I just spoke.
I thought you were done.
I thought so too, but apparently I'm not. No, I also think that if you, you know, if you don't kind of dictate to life what you want, life will dictate to you what it's gonna give you. And we live in a society where people like to tell people what to do with their time. You know what I'm saying? And companies and businesses are ran by people who have figured out that, hey, if I sit at the top, then I have the freedom. So, you know, make sure that if your grind is, you know, yours and yours alone, you're prioritizing time for self as well, because you need that time to recharge and reboot and rest and recover, and, you know.
And I think the biggest thing you said so far today was is knowledge, reading.
Yeah.
You know, entrepreneurship is a lot, and I feel like we don't even take the time to just sit down and read, like figure out what it is that we want to do, and then write down the steps of what it means, what that business or what that journey means to be successful.
You skip the steps.
Yeah, we really do skip it, and I can speak for myself. Like I've done it before where I skipped steps, and then I didn't take the correct steps, and it brought me back 10 steps.
Mm-hmm.
So then I go back to the drawing board and be like, okay, so what are we doing? And then once I wrote down everything, I said, boom, right there. This is what I'm missing, and we was able to go fix what we needed to fix, and able to elevate us to that next step. So I feel like a lot of us just really need to sit down. I feel like, you know, we need to have some of these top entrepreneurs put out classes, and if you really want to be an entrepreneur, you need to reach out to some of these classes. It's not just, I know how to dress, I'm going to start a clothing brand, and that's it. Like Dave said, he said he went yesterday, he's seen a whole bunch of, the clothing might have been dope. So if it was just a show, oh yeah, they might have got a lot of credit, and a lot of people might have talked about them, but then they opened their mouth, and then their credit just declined. So, and that's the number one thing about
That's why I didn't say any names.
is communication. The number
I
one
just
thing
think
is
that if you don't have
communication.
your presentation together, people can't take you seriously.
Exactly. The number one thing is communicating. If you can't communicate correctly, and in a certain space know what to say and when to say it, it's like you look good. It's like if a guy say a female, and you look bad, and you want to have a conversation. It's like
Empty.
Yeah. And also to add on that, I would say study.
Yeah.
Study.
Be a student of your game, man.
Yeah, because I went to fashion marketing school, and then business management masters. And when I see people going into being freelancers and entrepreneurs, it's like, do you know anything about what you're doing, apart that you want to do it, because there's a lot that goes into it, and there are thousands of amazing books that you can read. I had a whole, I forgot the name in English, but whatever. I had a shit ton of books at home
Plethora of books.
that I read to get me through this, and there's like Skillshare, there's a lot of resources.
My turn. You're good.
Okay, there's a lot of resources online that you can find for free or for a really small amount a month. And please educate yourselves on whatever you put your mind to, because you're doing it for yourself. You want it to work out. So just take the right steps. Wanting is not enough to be able to do something. So as long as manifestation and all is cool, you're not going to get anywhere if you don't educate yourself. So please don't embarrass yourself. Value yourself and your brain and all it can do.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I had to say. So we're ready to move on?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Okay, so next topic is it a red flag if your partner doesn't have a savings account?
At this big age,
Yeah, I think.
You talk about your big age.
I mean, he the same age. I mean, what, we a year apart almost?
Yeah, both
We're a
of you.
couple of baby, it's that.
Both
Okay,
of you.
no, I don't.
Alright, so let's break down your question, right? What age are we talking about?
Okay,
Yeah.
so let's talk about 34.
34, 35.
34, 35.
And then let's
I'm in a
5
relationship-
years from being 40.
In a relationship as well, right? Or not in a relationship?
No,
Yeah, your partner
like,
in a
you're-
relationship.
Oh,
Or even someone you met and you're getting to know, like, a part of having your ducks in a row should be some form of savings, even if it's just an emergency fund. Like, look, I'm gonna say this. For me, I'm very big on financial responsibility because I grew up having to pinch pennies, sometimes not knowing if the rent was gonna be paid. You get me? Like, you know, you only are allowed these momentary lapses of feeling safe and comfortable in your own home, because you never know when that ball was gonna drop and you were gonna have to be like, oh shit, I gotta pack all my shit because we gotta get out. So I've taken steps to make sure that financially I'm okay. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not rich by any standard, but I'm definitely not broke. You know what I'm saying? I can take care of myself. I have enough money put away to pay my mortgage up for a year if things were to go left for me in that way. You know, I have a business with business insurance, and it's licensed, it's insured, it's protected. You know what I'm saying? Making sure like your ducks are in order. And those aren't accoutrements that you should use as a pitch to be in a relationship. But what it demonstrates is that you're capable of being responsible for your own life. You get what I'm saying? Like when people say, like, for instance, a woman will say, I got my own car, I got my own house, I pay all my own bills. Congratulations,
As
you're
you
an
should.
adult. I don't know what you want from me for that. Like, you sit there and champion that. Like, I'm not doing the same thing. Like, we aren't all supposed to be doing that. I just think when you get to a certain point in life, like, you gotta have your shit together. There's just no excuse. And you know, we all grow up differently and come from different backgrounds and have different socioeconomical ideas about how life is supposed to go. So to me, I feel like you have to have a certain standard for yourself so that people can't play with you as well. You know, because looking good is one thing, but really having that mental acumen behind what you look like says a whole lot more about you. You know what I'm saying? Like, you gonna come with a $200,000 Mercedes, but you're $500,000 in debt. Unless you're leveraging debt and that's how you kind of live your life, then okay, cool. But you know, your credit score can't be shit, and you want to partner up because that doesn't make any sense. Because you're looking for help, you're not looking for a partner. And I don't think that when we talk about helpmates and we talk in their space of red flags and a relationship and you not having like a savings or anything, I just think just a cushion. You don't gotta have thousands or hundreds of thousands of dollars in your. Maybe you're someone who you do, you know, Roth IRAs or crypto or you know, index funds, whatever it is your thing is, IPOs, whatever you're into. So your money's tied up, but you have money that's actively invested in the market. Or maybe you're just like you know, you're from the old school. You got a big fat savings account full of, you know, zeros behind the number, and you're comfortable with that. You know what I'm saying? Whatever it is, and your credit's in order, whatever. As long as the things in life that are important for you to function in the society that we have, the social construct that we have, are in order, I think it makes more sense for you to be a little bit more appealing to want to be with, versus someone that's fiscally irresponsible and they're, you know, they're bobbing above water every month. They're treading their legs to try to figure it out. That's a very chaotic space to be in.
It's tough.
You know.
Tough space.
So yeah, to me, I think maybe not like a red flag, but I would want to have like a deeper conversation when you get to, because money has to be talked about, because that's like the number one like thing other than cheating that makes relationships and marriages fail is not the poor, you know, money management.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I would say a red flag if you don't got no.
Yeah, I think it's a red flag too.
In this age area right here, this is 30, middle of the pack 30, like 33, you know, for you is what, next year?
32.
Yeah. So for me, 33, 34, 35, in there, like I can't see you not having, you know, you've had plenty of time.
Yeah, you gotta, I would say you have to have something, something sitting, like for a rainy day. I would probably say in both ages too. Maybe not, they probably wouldn't be that much serious in your age, Julie, but I would definitely say in our age it would be serious. But I would say in our age, you probably definitely would need a savings, because, I mean, especially in the way we live in today, you can have a job today and a job gone tomorrow.
True.
So I would definitely say a savings is a big red flag, but at the same time, it's all about communication. Like, why don't you have a savings? Maybe you had a savings and then something happened, so what happened why you don't have that savings anymore?
Right.
You know what I mean? So I think everything falls onto having conversation.
Well, yeah, that and like, so in your age, what would you say is an okay place to be in for you? Let's hypothetically say you were gonna date someone. Do they get to check the box of like, I'm working on it, and you still give them a chance, or it's like, yo, you're broke and we can't do nothing, we can't go nowhere, but
So
I fuck with you, so I'm gonna just ignore that.
no, like to me, it's different because, first of all, I'm not getting in a relationship with someone that's like doesn't have a career, doesn't have aspirations, doesn't work. Like that's not happening. First of all,
I respect that. That's respect.
yeah, but I would say more important than a savings account, which it is a red flag, right? And to me, not having a savings account is a red flag. The thing is, why don't you have one? So are you struggling to make ends meet, blah, blah. But to me, bigger than that is, what are your spending habits? If you're trying to make ends meet every month and you're struggling, why is that? Because I grew up around people that were struggling, but they were at the bar every day.
So it's a matter of priorities than it is.
Exactly. So what are your priorities? You know, are you like shopping too much? Are you drinking too much?
Yeah.
Are you not working enough? Like what's going on? And that to me is more important than having a savings account at my age.
I like that.
Because I'm not, like, I just can't stand the discourse of like, I'm so broke, and then you're just stupid,
I like that.
you know?
Well, I mean, I'll say this.
Spending your money on the wrong thing.
Thing. Right, there you go. Putting the money where it has no business going. Like because you're
Exactly.
trying to keep up
That-
with the
that's what I
Joneses,
meant.
where you're-
Yeah.
I think that's one of those, like, money is a very tricky conversation to have in the space of being in a relationship. And I think sometimes, like, if you don't, that's why I say for men, I think before you find a partner, you should be together.
Mm-hmm.
Come to the table trim.
And I think
I can't
for
stress
women
that
too.
enough. Well, yeah, I'm only speaking to men because I don't want to speak to ladies. You know, I mean, I don't want nobody who hurt you. And I ain't trying to deal with all that. I just think, fellas, like, you know, I have 3 things for myself that I learned from having a mentor. Have your finances in order, have your physical in order, and have your emotions checked out, whether you go through a therapist or you go to your church and talk to your, confide in your, whatever it is you do to get yourself emotionally ready to be in that space. Because I think sometimes we ask for things that we just aren't ready for. So I think as males, we tend to be ego driven. Whatever your bracket is, bro, it's cool, man, but just make sure that your shit is together, you know what I'm saying? You're living within your means and you're comfortable. Or hell, even a little below your means. I've done that, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, drive around in a 4-door Honda Civic with the AC barely working. Gotta bring 2 shirts when I go to the event, because one is to drive there to sweat in and the other one is actually for the party or for the event, you know what I'm saying? But understanding that this is temporary and I'm working towards a bigger picture, you know, and understanding that taking a few steps back to take 10 steps forward is a part of the game plan, you know? I just think that this conversation is really rich because there's so many different ways that you can go about putting yourself together. In the world we live in right now, money is everywhere. It's like, it's just being printed at alarming amounts, and if you know, you just gotta find something to help you capitalize. You know what I'm saying?
And I feel I want to add something to that. Finances are not just about money to me, because finances are like, there's so much that goes into it, right? Your past goes into it, your traumas goes into it,
your spending habits,
your habits go into it, and it's important to, whenever you're getting to know someone, pay attention to where the money goes, because that's gonna play out during the whole relationship. And the thing is, the point of that is prioritizing. So if that person is not prioritizing the right things with money, they're not going to do that with their own life. And then if you're planning on building a life together, that's going to go to hell, because you can't. And I say that from experience. If your person does not know how to manage their money or does not know how to manage their life, one is going into another. So just be careful, because it is way bigger than just a paycheck and a savings account.
You know, I always wanted to, like, now that I'm older and we talk about these things, I want to be a big advocate to push for these schools to teach, like, these students about, like,
financial
responsibility. Yeah, things that we know that, like, bro, when I went to college, I didn't know nothing about, like, I didn't know that credit was going to be a big, I didn't know it was like a big thing. You know what I mean? Like, I'm still young. I'm just living my life. I just moved over here. So, like, I go to college, bro, I'm living life. I come back, my credit, I couldn't do nothing. Like, I couldn't do not a damn thing. And I didn't know that credit is something that you need to live your life in America.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like,
we're not taught that.
We're not taught that at all, bro. We're not taught that at all. All this, and it's so crazy to me. Like, I always say, like, a lot of the stuff that we was taught in school, like, really tell me when we be using it in real life.
I mean, addition and subtraction is good. I use that all the time.
Reasonable
deduction, your vocabulary,
You know what I mean?
you know, your conversation skill set. But I think school.
Like, how much time you gonna use about the geography? Or how much you gonna use about the square or the pi? Or, like,
Americans don't know much about geography anyways.
And then it's,
we're not about
I ain't gonna jump into that part. I'm just saying, like,
you know, the European principles of teaching geography as opposed to the American.
It's different. It's definitely different for sure.
I just want to put out there that I heard last week that all black people come from Jamaica. So, so I'm a proud Jamaican. I'm am happy to be in this space. And if any of you are black and are not from Jamaica, I just want to let you know that you are. So that's what you got.
Yeah.
What was that Jamaican dude? He's very serious. He be doing radio. Muta Baruka.
I've heard his name. I never watched his show.
Somebody had a soundbite that they took from him. He was like, "What?" That's where I'm at. That's where I'm at. I'm not.
Not
No.
Jamaican.
No.
Oh God.
I'm not even.
Yo.
I'm not even on the same page. I don't even know what to tell you.
On that note.
Yeah. Can we move on?
Yeah, let's jump to the next. Yo.
What the?
That's different, bro.
Imagine my reaction.
So and he was serious.
Oh yes, very serious.
That's like all black people are thieves.
Very serious.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know that not even Jamaicans are
From Jamaica.
Jamaican, right? Like, we all came from somewhere called Africa.
Somewhere.
You know,
It's a
so
big supercontinent back
That's
in the day.
crazy. That's some crazy shit.
Look up Pangea, you know what I mean? Learn life.
Yeah,
Again, people
learn
need to
from-
read.
yes.
Just running around saying any old thing.
Kids,
Good
stay
lord.
in
Didn't go to
school.
school. I'm about to say. It's
Stay
cool.
on the goddamn internet.
You're like, what?
What the
Nigga, nah.
Go to class and go to school.
I'm sorry, man.
touch grass. Go to class.
Go to class, please.
Okay.
Moving on. Please.
Yo,
Okay.
good girl, man.
Okay, so what are the biggest lessons you have learned with age?
If you're not Jamaican, you ain't nothing.
For me, I ain't gonna lie, my biggest one that I've learned with age, that I can remember right now, it's gonna sound crazy, but like, listen to your parents. And why I say that, I feel like, and now that I'm an adult, I can definitely own up to it and tell my parents that I apologize 1,000%, right? So, you know, growing up as a kid, Caribbean kid, you know, your parents always want the best out of you guys, you know? And then it's like, they live through the bullshit so that when we get here, they would tell us not to do it. But being kids, you tell us not to do something, we're gonna do it. So I feel like when I was growing up, my parents used to always tell me, yo, basically get your ducks in a row so that when you're older, you'll be set. And I took full granted of it. I didn't take it, I took it for granted. That's what I'm looking for. And now I've grown up and I can honestly say that I feel like I could have been 10 times maybe better than where I am right now if I would have listened to the words that my parents were telling me. And I could say like now growing up, I'm like, damn, that's crazy. Like I could have been so further in life, I would say, if I would have just listened to a couple of words that they was telling me wisdom instead of fighting with them or fighting against the words that they were saying. Actually like listen, let it sink in. And sometimes just don't even say nothing, just shut up and, you know what I mean? Just listen and after a while they gonna stop talking. So I would say, looking at now my age and what I wouldn't really say I'm going through a lot like bad, but just what I'm going through, I could definitely say like, damn, if I would listen to them, it would be lit. But yeah, that's one for sure. Like I said.
Wow, that's profound. For me, I think the most like profound thing I've taken away from being here for as long as I've been here is that every storm runs out of rain.
Mm-hmm.
I literally live my life by that, and for a long time I didn't. I also, it's two things. I know it's supposed to only be one because the question was singular based, but it's two things for me, and they tie together. The other one is that who I am as a man is not based on anybody's concepts of what a man is other than Dame's.
Like that.
And I say that to say, like, when people try to tell you who you are, remember who you are for who you are and not for what they need you to be or want you to be, because there's always some sort of intention behind that.
Mm.
I've gone through things in my life where I question my own sense of self-worth because I wasn't wanted by the person I wanted. And so for me, that lesson came with a lot of pain, a lot of heartbreak, a lot of disappointment in self. When you have the conversation of self-actualization, where your maturity starts to set in and you become self-aware, you become very intolerable of people trying to play games with you, manipulate you, toy with your time, disrespect you, putting you in boxes you have no business being in, or even classes of people you have no business being labeled as because they have no mental construct or the ability to socialize outside of what they've generalized. And to go back to the storm and rain, really what that boils down to is understanding that, you know, tough times are a part of this thing that we're doing, this game of life, and to, you know, run it up as high as you can, up that mountain of life, you know, as hard as you can, as intense as you can, but don't be reckless, you know what I'm saying? And to the youth, don't ruin your youth trying to have a good time, because a lot of the advice that you get from adults that tell you that shit is because they ruined their lives when they were young, and then they're living vicariously through you.
Right.
Misery loves company. Remember that in the back of your mind when you go to people and you ask them for advice, that they're giving you advice and some of it's bad. It's just fucking bad. You know what I'm saying? I've been on the receiving end of advice that the person was, I regaled this person, I held him in incredibly high regard, and no, I'm not gonna hold you, their advice was trash. When you really try to put what they're telling you into practical use, you're like, this isn't gonna fucking work. And I mean to curse, but that's just the truth of it, you know what I'm saying? So, for me, those are the two things. And I'd stress number two more than I stress number one, because if you can figure out who you are, what you want out of this thing called life early on, and really, you're gonna get tested when it comes to standing in that. Getting in relationships with girls that don't mean you no good. They don't have no plan for you to be in their life other than for you to be a part of whatever they got going on. Making friends with dudes who don't have nothing going for themselves at all. They have no motion, they got no plan, they got no life goal. You know, getting in fights, carrying weapons, doing things that are gonna put your life and your freedom at jeopardy and your reputation in the shit, excuse my language. My father had a saying that he used to say, you wanna play in mud, but you don't wanna be labeled a pig. And that's something that really, really speaks for me. You know what I'm saying? I took a lot of the lessons that he learned and applied them to my life. And he learned them late in his life. And I think that we, as young, especially black men, we don't fucking listen. And I think that that's something that has to change. Like, if you really want good for yourself, take heed, whether it's through what you see someone going through, avoiding it, or also understanding that that whole, like, you're young is bullshit, and that shit don't last forever. One day you'll be an old head too. So the dude you're making fun of for trying to give you advice or telling you that what you're doing leads to nowhere is stupid, that's just, you're playing yourself. And you'll land where you're gonna land if you don't make changes. So that's it for me.
Okay. Well, I would say know that you are the most important part of your life.
Character.
Yeah. And I say that for a lot of reasons. I've learned that, going back to what you said on not like wasting your life having fun, just be yourself. You don't have to do what everyone else is doing. You don't have to go where everyone else is going. You don't have to dress like everyone else is dressing.
That's a family fact.
That will do you no good at all. And I can say that because I grew up during my teen years in a very, very, very like, I don't want to say toxic, but this environment of people that had the same life, the same clothes, the same everything. And I never fit in. I tried my best. I never did. And once I left, I was basically left with nothing, right? Because everything I had built for myself, my opinions about myself and others, my habits, the things I liked, everything was based off of them and not me. So I had to start from zero. And when I started being myself, I was like, oh, this is actually great. This is it. This is amazing. And life just starts like going once you step into yourself. And to add on that, I would say, especially you talk to men, I'll talk to women, know your worth. And knowing your worth is not about how pretty you are, how much money you got, no.
Inside, internal.
It's all inside. Because whatever you want to portray on the outside will not be done if the inside is not correct. So work on your mind, work on your soul, work on your goals, work on who you are, what you like, what you don't like. Know that, and this is to everyone, you are valuable because you are you. No one else can be you in this world, and that's your biggest strength. So work on that, develop yourself, and everything else will come once you have that. Because you can't, some things you just can't fake it till you make it. And yeah, concentrate on yourself, focus on yourself, be yourself. And in my young age, that is the most valuable lesson I learned.
I just want to say real quick, there's a I keep it in my phone. There's a speech that Hov gave, and he got to this point in the speech where you could tell that it wasn't a speech, it was an interview, excuse me. He was kind of getting that energy from the interviewer, like, who do you think you are? And he said, you know, I'm an artist, but I'm a human being first, right? And the part of it that sticks out to me that I think everybody should have is we don't live in a world where everyone is equally confident. And insecurity shows up in ugly ways in all of us. And in some of us, it's more ugly than it is in others. And in others, it's their confidence shines through regardless of whatever room they're in. So just understand that you take up space and don't apologize for it. You understand what I'm saying? Don't speak soft. Don't cower. You know, speak with the same tone and have the same body language, and don't apologize for that. You know what I'm saying? And that's really it. Everything else kind of like takes precedent when those things it's like it falls into place, like the blocks fall into place for you.
Yeah.
When those things right there are kind of like, you know what I'm saying, set. And what you'll find is that the people who you're offending 9 times out of 10 is because they didn't do any work. There's no internal work being done. You understand what I'm saying? So I think that that's the most important key, is like understanding that there's no room for cowardice when it comes to your self-worth. You can't allow people to dictate to you who you are, what you should be doing with your time, where you should place your attention. If it's not in alignment with what you want,
It's not it.
leave. Leave. Walk away from that table. Because if it don't serve you, you're going to suffer.
Yeah. You don't have to be anywhere you're not wanted, because there's always going to be a place that is open to you, and that place is gonna find you when the moment comes. So don't try to shrink yourself to get into these spaces, because it's not it. And don't shrink yourself to get into that person or whatever the situation may be.
Yeah.
Have your boundaries, have your what's the word, like, no non-negotiables.
Yeah.
Have all of that straight, and you will see how much your life will
Change.
360, 180, whatever you want to say. It will change, but that takes work, and don't be scared to put in the work. It's the best thing you can do for yourself.
100%. Because if you don't have no direction, again, man, you're
Yeah.
just a kite drifting in the storm of life, waiting to get struck by lightning.
You're just a plastic bag drifting through the wind.
That's the tough one right there.
Woo! You said a word right here. You said a word. I don't know. I don't want to take up too much more of y'all time. We appreciate y'all for being here. We appreciate you for tapping in. YouTube people, please like, subscribe, follow the page, tell a friend about us to tell a friend about us. You know what I'm saying? Just did a pop-up for Hunters and Hounds Clothing. Collection 5 will be here in July. Maxwell Fitness is still here, still popping. MaxwellFitness.com is the site. HuntersandHounds.com is the site. You see the brand, you see the vibes. You know what I'm saying? Quality pieces at a reasonable price. That's what we're pushing. You know what I'm saying? Got a few pieces that I had to bring out of the stash so y'all can see what's coming. There's a whole lot of heat coming our way. Be ready for that. Be on the lookout for that. What else I got going on? Yeah, a lot, man. Just having motion, you know what I'm saying? Having motion and not having a lot of emotion. You get me? I'm just playing. That sounds toxic as hell. I had to get it off though because it was in there. You dig me? Yeah, I hope you have yourself a blessed, peaceful, and prosperous, self-growing week. We'll tap back in right here next week. You get me?
I'm just gonna say love again to everybody that showed up to our party last night.
Ship him some Tylenol. We're gonna put his Addy down low. Advil and sunglasses.
I also want to appreciate everybody that checks in every Sunday, every Wednesday morning, listen to our podcast, checks in, follows our page. A lot more content will be posted, so if you like what's been posted so far,
Be on the lookout for
be on the
more.
lookout for a lot more. We're coming hard this season.
Yeah.
You see the YouTube is dropping, you see the reels is dropping, you see the
Follow
pages,
us on
the
TikTok.
pages getting there, you see the TikTok and hey, TikTok. Takes one good video.
Yeah.
Boom.
I ain't trying to
Don't speak that into existence.
I'm not, no, I'm just saying they banned it in Delaware.
What?
We're in Florida. They'll be fine.
Yeah, we'll be fine.
And wait, it can't look at something around there. Remember saying we're all
He's Jamaican.
Remember saying, what are you doing guys? So we can't talk. But no.
Oh my God.
And then if one thing I want to say too, get serious for a quick second. If there's anything that you can take away from this episode,
Put that in the comment section down below, whether it's on YouTube or you're on IG.
let us know.
Make sure you drop that. What did you take away from an episode
It's
filled with gems? You know what I'm
Filled with gems.
saying? So,
And that's a new thing we're gonna be doing. Every season, every episode.
yeah.
At the
Let
end
us
of
know
the
what you
video,
took away from it.
Just let us know what you took away from it.
They won't always be this deep.
Never. Or even if you just like the jokes, you know, we may come on here and make
Even
jokes.
if you just want to let us know that you're Jamaican too.
Whether you're really Jamaican or you want to be Jamaican, whatever, whichever one. Yeah,
Right.
just let us know in the comment section, whether on YouTube, whether anywhere on social media,
Yeah.
and we will definitely shout you guys out. If it's a question, we'll answer the question live, ask it and answer it live on the air. So
Yeah.
don't be afraid to reach us out.
Yeah.
Reach out.
Jump in the comments. Let us know what's up. We appreciate everybody that's viewed our video so far. Thank you so much. Thanks for the follows. Thanks for listening. Thanks for tapping in. Appreciate it. All right. I don't know what you're doing.
We out.
Oh yeah, people.